The little bell above the cafe door chimed softly as Ethan walked in, brushing snow off his coat. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, clutched his hand tightly, her small boots leaving light prints on the floor. It was one of those winter evenings when the world outside seemed frozen still, yet somehow, life inside the cafe moved with quiet warmth. Ethan had just finished a long day at the construction site. His hands were rough, his eyes tired, but he always made time for their evening ritual, a cup of hot chocolate for Lily, and a black coffee for himself. It wasn't just about caffeine. It was about peace. Those few minutes with his daughter when the world slowed down. "Daddy, can we sit by the window today?" Lily asked, her blue eyes gleaming with excitement. "Of course, sweetheart," Ethan smiled. "You go find us a good spot. Daddy will get the drinks." As Lily skipped toward her favorite corner, Ethan walked up to the counter. Behind it stood a young woman, maybe mid-20s, wearing the cafe's brown apron. Her hair was tied in a messy bun, and her smile looked like it had taken effort to appear. "Hi," Ethan said warmly. "One small hot chocolate with extra cream and one medium black coffee, please." The woman nodded, but as she reached for the cups, her hands trembled. Ethan noticed it immediately, the way the cup rattled against the counter, the faint clink of the spoon slipping from her fingers. "Careful," he said gently. "Are you okay?" She froze. Her eyes darted to his, filled with something he couldn't quite read: fear, pain, embarrassment. Yes, I'm fine," she said quickly, forcing a smile. "Just cold hands." But Ethan could tell it wasn't just the cold. There was something else, something heavier. He wanted to say more, but before he could, the manager's voice barked from the back. "Clara, don't forget to wipe down table 6. And make sure you clock out on time. We can't afford extra minutes again." She flinched slightly, then nodded. "Yes, sir." Ethan frowned. There was tension in the air, a kind of quiet pressure that didn't belong in a cozy cafe. He watched as she poured the hot chocolate carefully, her hands trembling even more now. A drop of whipped cream spilled over the edge, and she quickly wiped it, her movements rushed. "Here you go," she said, sliding the cups forward. Ethan took them but didn't move. "You sure you're all right?" he asked softly. Clara hesitated, eyes flicking toward the manager again before whispering, "It's just been a long day." Ethan nodded, offering a kind smile. "I know the feeling." He dropped a few extra bills into the tip jar before heading back to Lily, who was already doodling hearts on a napkin. "Did you see the Christmas lights outside, Daddy?" Lily asked between sips of her hot chocolate. "They look like magic." Ethan smiled, watching her joyfully. But his mind kept drifting back to the cashier, the way her hands had shaken, the sadness behind her smile. Something about it stirred something in him. Maybe because he'd seen that same exhaustion before, in the mirror, years ago, when his wife passed away and he had to raise Lily alone. The weight of pretending to be okay when you were falling apart inside. As the cafe began to empty out, he noticed Clara cleaning tables alone. Her movements were slow, deliberate, as if every step took effort. The manager had left. The place was quiet now except for the soft hum of the heater and Lily humming a Christmas song. When they got up to leave, Ethan stopped near the counter. "Hey," he said gently. "I just wanted to say, you're doing great work. I can tell it's been a rough day, but hang in there, okay?" Clara looked up, startled. No one usually said things like that. For a second, her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but then she just nodded. "Thank you," she whispered. As Ethan and Lily walked out into the cold, he couldn't shake the image of her trembling hands. He didn't know that this small moment, a question spoken from kindness, was about to change both their lives forever. 3 days passed since that snowy evening, but Ethan couldn't get the image of Clara out of his head, the nervous smile, the trembling hands, the fear in her eyes when her manager spoke. Every morning on his way to work, he'd think about stopping by the cafe again. He told himself it was just for coffee, but deep down, he knew it wasn't. It was concern, the kind that doesn't fade easily. On Friday afternoon, he finally went back. Lily was at her friend's house, so he was alone this time. The cafe was quiet, the hum of soft jazz floating in the air. Clara was there again, wearing the same brown apron, but her face looked even paler than before. When she noticed Ethan, a small flicker of surprise crossed her face, then something like relief. "You're back," she said softly. "Couldn't resist your coffee," he joked lightly, but his tone carried warmth. "How are you holding up?" She hesitated, then smiled politely. "Still standing." Ethan nodded, glancing around. The manager wasn't there. "Good. Then maybe you can take a short break. I'll buy you something warm to drink." Her eyes widened. "Oh, I can't. We're not supposed to sit with customers. Even for 5 minutes." Ethan asked gently. "Just coffee. No rules broken." Clara looked at the clock, then around the cafe. It was nearly empty. Finally, she sighed and poured herself a small cup before slipping into the chair across from him. For a few seconds, neither spoke. The silence felt comfortable, though. Then Ethan said quietly, "You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but last time, your hands were shaking. Are you okay, really?" Clara froze, her fingers tightening around the cup. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "It's not just the cold. I've been going through a lot." Ethan leaned forward slightly. "You can tell me. Sometimes it helps." Her eyes filled with tears. She tried to hide behind a small laugh. "You're kind. Most people just see a cashier. No one ever asks why." "I used to work 2 jobs, Ethan said quietly. "After my wife passed away, it was just me and my daughter. I know what tired looks like." Her gaze lifted slowly to meet his, and something in her expression cracked, the wall she'd built. "I'm a single mom too," she said finally. "My little boy, Ben, is 5. He's sick. Asthma. It's been bad this winter." Ethan's heart sank. "I'm sorry." Clara shook her head, blinking fast. "I've been taking extra shifts to pay for his medicine. I barely sleep. Sometimes I skip meals to make sure there's enough for him. The shaking, it's from stress, I guess. And exhaustion." Ethan felt his throat tighten. He wanted to say something, anything, but words seemed too small for what he felt. "Does anyone help you?" he asked finally. She smiled sadly. "My parents passed away years ago. Ben's father left when I was pregnant. So, no, it's just me." A heavy silence filled the air. Outside, snowflakes drifted against the window like falling stars. Ethan looked at her, really looked, and realized she wasn't just tired, she was fighting every single day to survive. "I'm sorry you've had to do it alone," he said softly. "That's a lot for one person." Clara wiped her eyes quickly and tried to laugh it off. "It's life. You just keep going, right?" Ethan nodded slowly. "Yeah, you keep going, for them." He thought of Lily, the nights he'd worked overtime, the mornings he'd made pancakes with one eye half open. The endless worry about bills and school clothes. And suddenly, he saw Clara not as a stranger, but as someone walking the same lonely road he once did. "Do you live nearby?" he asked gently. "A few blocks away. Small apartment. It's nothing fancy, but it's home." She smiled faintly, looking down. "Ben loves it when I bring leftover muffins from the cafe. Says they taste like Christmas happiness." Ethan chuckled softly. "He sounds like a great kid." "He is," she whispered, pride shining through her tiredness. "He's the reason I get up every morning." They sat there in silence for a moment longer, the warmth of the coffee slowly seeping into their hands. Ethan noticed her still shaking slightly and wanted to reach across the table, to steady her hand, but he stopped himself. Instead, he said, "If you ever need help with groceries, or anything, I mean it. I've been where you are." Clara's lips parted in surprise. "That's kind, but I can't ask that of you." "You're not asking," Ethan said softly. "I'm offering." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time she didn't look away. "Why would you help me? You barely know me," he smiled. "Because someone once helped me when I was drowning. Maybe it's time I do the same." For the first time, Clara's smile reached her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, voice trembling. "You have no idea how much that means." Just then, the door opened, and her manager walked in. Clara immediately jumped up, wiping her eyes. "I should get back to work." Ethan nodded, standing too. "I'll let you go. But, can I come by again tomorrow? Maybe bring Lily next time." Clara hesitated, then smiled. "I'd like that." As Ethan stepped back into the cold, the wind biting at his cheeks, he felt something shift inside him, a quiet resolve. He didn't just want to help her. He needed to. Because sometimes, fate doesn't bring two broken people together by accident. Sometimes, it brings them together so they can help each other heal. The next evening, the cafe was buzzing softly with the sound of holiday chatter. Ethan walked in with Lily by his side, both bundled in thick scarves. Snow clung to their boots, and the warmth of the cafe welcomed them instantly. Clara looked up from behind the counter and smiled, this time, a genuine one. "You came back," she said, her voice carrying a note of relief. "Of course," Ethan said. "Lily's been talking about your hot chocolate non-stop." Lily grinned shyly. "Daddy says you make the best whipped cream ever." Clara laughed, the sound lighter than before. "Well, then, I better live up to my reputation." As she prepared their drinks, Ethan noticed her hands still trembled a little, but not as much. Maybe it was the sleep, maybe it was the company, or maybe it was hope finally finding its way back. They chatted for a while as Lily devoured her chocolate muffin. Clara spoke about her son, Ben, how he loved to draw rockets, how he wanted to be an astronaut, and how every hospital visit broke her heart but made her stronger. Ethan